Hello everyone, welcome to ENbreezEN, the daily current affairs news analysis by Team Enlight. The topics for today are heat waves, tokenization, G-20, Common Service Center. So the first topic for today is heat waves. So why was this in news? So recently, three new heat wave hotspots, that is in northwestern, central and south central regions in India, will put a huge population at immediate health risk. As you can see over here in the figure, that is the northwestern, central and the south central regions of India. So what is a heat wave? It is basically a period of abnormally high temperatures, more than the normal temperatures than which occurs during the summer season, and they usually last between the March to June, and sometimes rarely they may extend up to July also. So criteria for heat waves by IMD is the temperatures must be at least above 40 degrees Celsius for plains and 30 degrees Celsius for the hilly regions. So causes of heat waves, the phenomenon basically occurs when there is a high atmospheric pressure lasting in an area for 2 or more days. So what happens is, because of this high pressure region, the air in the upper levels of the atmosphere is pulled downwards and this becomes compressed and it increases the temperature. So this is the reason, or basically the phenomenon how heat waves occur. Now what are the causes of heat waves in these three particular hotspots? First one is concretization. These areas have high population density and hence very high amount of concretization. This leads to cutting down of tree cover, etc., and also the heat absorption on the ground increases. Next is the urban heat island effect. This leads to ambient temperatures becoming at least 3 to 4 degrees more than the normal temperature. Then climate change and global warming, because of greenhouse gas emission and climate change taking place, so the general temperatures have been rising. So the impact of heat waves, first of all, on human health, it leads to heat strokes and sudden fatalities. It may also lead to dehydration, fatigue, weakness, dizziness, etc., which reduces one's capabilities of working, etc., and hence affects the economy of the country in general. It can also lead to wildfires, as you had recently heard in the past. There were wildfires in the USA as well as in Australia because of increased temperatures. So this can destroy huge areas of forest as well as harm the wildlife. Next is the prevention of cloud formation. So since there is too much high heat, this will prevent cloud formation, and further the radiation is able to reach the ground and hence increases the heat further. Then destruction of vegetation, that is it may damage crops, there might be droughts, etc. Last but not the least, increased energy demands. Because of the high temperature, people tend to use more cooling, etc., and hence the energy consumption may increase. So what are the steps to avoid heat waves? At the individual level, one must stay hydrated, one must try to keep indoors as well as drink a lot of water, and also special care must be taken for the young and the elderly. Next, at the public level, there must be cooling shelters, air conditioned rooms, etc., public drinking water facilities, and advanced public warning against heat waves. In the long term, first of all, we need to counter the global warming and climate change in order to prevent heat waves which are occurring right now. Then afforestation, it provides shelter, and also the transpiration leads to lowering of temperature and creates microclimate in a region. Next is replacing dark roofs. Basically, the dark colors absorb more heat and light colored areas reflect heat. So hence it is important that we have light colored so that heating is prevented. Next is some eco-friendly options. For example, we can have hollow walls made of wood since they are insulators. Then walls which are covered with cow dung, etc., they help to keep the interiors cool. Then reviving the old system of water storage such as the Tanka boilies, etc., and also project Kakatiya in Andhra Pradesh. All this will basically help in cooling of the microclimate near the regions. Then also new forecasting tools should be used for predicting any heat waves. So here are some facts and figures which you can use in your mains answer writing and also may be important from prelims point of view. So India Cooling Action Plan, which was launched by the Ozone Cell of Union Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. It aims to basically provide sustainable cooling while protecting the ozone layer. The National Action Plan on Climate Change for National Mission of Green India. then National Adaptation Fund for Climate Change. Then there was a Lancet report on climate change and human health, which said that the heat waves will impact the labor capacity and will lead to an increase in vector-borne diseases and food security, and hence affect the economy of India. Also, it is said that India has lost these many million hours of labor in 2017 uh, in general because of heat waves and conditions existing because of heat waves. So let's move on to the next topic for today, that is tokenization. So why was this in news? So RBI has recently extended tokenization, that is replacement of actual card details with alternate code token of card on file by the card users. So what is tokenization? Basically, it involves a process in which a unique token marks the sensitive card details. This token is then used to perform the card transactions in contactless mode of point of sale, terminals, QR codes, payments, etc. So basically, your card details will be hidden and some other details will be given instead of this, which is specific and unique to your input in your card. Hence, it will increase the security. So as you can see over here in the figure how this tokenization transaction works. So some other key points are no charges are to be taken from the customer for availing this service. RBI has allowed card payments network to offer card tokenization by third-party app providers as well. Then all parties involved in the payment transaction chain will have to be registered with the central bank. Also, these services can be availed by registering the card on the token requesters app and by giving explicit consent. So why is this important? First of all, it gives a new layer of security for digital payments without adding any added, friction, etc. Then it does not require the merchants to make any major changes to their current payment acceptance systems. Then the thing is that the payment card number may no longer be used or saved where unauthorized access can occur. So hence security increases. Plus it also eliminates the need to enter and re-enter one's account numbers, etc. while you are using your smartphone, etc. So the next topic for today is G20. So why was this in news? Because India is supposed to host the 2023 G20 summit and Mr. Piyush Goyal has been named the new Sherpa. So what is the G20? Basically, it is an annual meeting of leaders with the largest and fastest growing economies. So why is it important? Because it accounts for 85% of the world's GDP and 2/3 of the population. It is also known as the Summit on Financial Markets and World Economy, important from Prelims point of view. And this is also important to remember that G20 is an informal group consisting of 19 countries and the European Union is the 20th participant in the G20. Also, several other representatives are there from International Monetary Fund and the World Bank. So the history behind the G20 is that during the Asian financial crisis, the G7 invited several developed and developing economies. At that time, the finance ministers and central bank governors began meeting. And finally, after the 2008 financial crisis, it was decided that G20 leaders should begin meeting annually to build some consensus at the highest political levels. So how does the G20 works? It works on two tracks. First is the finance track, which comprises of the finance ministers and the central bank governors of the particular countries, and they mainly discuss issues related to monetary and fiscal issues, financial regulations, etc. The next is the Sherpa track, which is basically dealing with broader issues of political engagement, anti-corruption, development, energy, etc. So over here, I have mentioned few points or takeaways from an ORF report related to India and G20 and how India can actually make use of the current COVID crisis and rise as a multilateral power amongst the G20 and also as a global power. So you can go through these. Certain important points are there from mains perspective, which you can mention in your answer. So prelims based facts. So the first summit was hosted by US in 2008 in response to the global financial crisis. The G20 summit for 2021 will be held in Rome, and the broad focus is on three pillars, that is people, planet, prosperity. The last G20 summit was held virtually under the presidency of Saudi Arabia, and India over there called for new global index which should be based on the following pillars, that is technology, talent, transparency and trusteeship towards the planet. Over here in this figure you can see the participants in G20, G8 and G7. There could be a perspective prelims question from this. So the last topic for today is common service centers, and why was this in news? So recently the common service centers have received approval to manage and operate passport Seva Kendra kiosks in the rural area. So what is a common service center? So basically it is the access point of delivery for various electronic services in a village, and it contributes to digital and financial inclusivity in the society. So it is a strategic cornerstone for the Digital India program in India, and it provides multiple services at a single point. Also, it is an access point for delivery of essential public utility service, social welfare schemes, healthcare, financial, educational, agriculture services, apart from lot of business to customer services in rural and remote areas of the country. So, the CSEs have enabled 3 vision areas of the Digital India program. This you can directly mention in your mains answer writing also. One is the digital infrastructure is a core utility to every citizen. Then governance and services on demand and digital empowerment of each citizen. So, what are the benefits of these common service centers? The first benefit is that access point for delivery of all these essential public services such as welfare schemes, healthcare, financial, education, agricultural services. Next, it provides high quality and cost effective video, voice and data content and services, improves the e-governance in all these fields, and it is basically an attempt to uplift the developing sector in the society for overall better growth of the country. So significance of these common service centers is it acts as a change agent promoting rural entrepreneurship and building rural capabilities and livelihoods. It also enables community participation and collective action for engendering social change through a bottoms up approach, which has been very important in the development of country from the grassroots level. So coming to the current news topic, that is passport Seva Kendras through the CSCs. So one must only know that they will be doing the bulk of the work such as the collection of documents, photographs and other details necessary for the passport process, as well as the initial non-police verification. And the CSCs currently will not be dealing with any biometric verification, as those require very secure systems which are not presently present in the CSCs. So here are the objectives of CSC 2.0. I will not be going into the details of it, but one must know certain important points from this, that it is planning 2.5 lakh CSCs, that is 1 CSC per gram panchayat, and even more if it is possible. The next important point over here is establishment of the VLEs, that is the village level entrepreneurs, which is going to help in MSME sector, creating livelihoods, etc. in the village. So thank you for listening and have a great day ahead.